Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Your Mark on the World show. I'm your host, Devin Thorpe. I'm a Forbes contributor covering social entrepreneurship and impact investing. Our guests today are Elisa Willman, who is a senior manager of communications with responsibility for corporate citizenship and public affairs at Microsoft, along with her colleague, Dave Forstrom. Dave Forstrom, who is the director of communications for Windows. So with the big Windows 10 launch yesterday, Dave is looking forward to sleep this weekend, but hasn't had any in a while. Elisa and Dave, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, Devin.
We're really excited to talk to you, and thank you for making the time. Elisa, I want you to jump in, if you would, and tell us quickly about this $10 million that you're giving away this week.
Oh, well, very happy to share a little bit about that. To celebrate the launch of Windows 10, we're actually making a $10 million contribution to support nonprofits around the world who are upgrading their world each day in their work. There's a number of ways that will roll out, but to start with, we've selected 9 global organizations, and we're asking the public to help us choose a 10th global nonprofit to receive $500,000 in technology and support from Microsoft. Then in a couple of weeks, you'll see us asking people around the world to again help us choose some local nonprofits who are using technology for good to receive contributions from Microsoft as well. It's all part of celebrating the launch of Windows 10.
Now that's really wonderful work. So when will the decision be made on the 10th recipient?
Well, voting is open now and will run through August 23rd. On September 1st, we will reveal who that 10th nonprofit is.
It's very, very exciting. And will that be, strictly speaking, a hashtag count?
It will be, strictly speaking, a hashtag count. And we're asking people around the world to share their stories and tell us the cause they care about.
Wow, that is so exciting. So anyone can win, but they're going to need a few fans to get there.
They will need a few fans.
All righty. Dave, we really are focused on this Give Back program, but I want you to just take a minute and tell users why they ought to be thinking about upgrading to Windows 10.
Okay, thanks, Devin. So yeah, just yesterday we kicked off this launch where we made Windows 10 available across the world, 190 countries, as a free upgrade and on new PCs and tablets. And this is something that we've been developing for over a year now. It is our best Windows ever. For some fundamental reasons. It's more personal, it's more productive, it's fast, it's very familiar, but it's got some really, really cool innovations in it. Innovations like your own digital personal assistant. For several years, people have had these personal assistants on their smartphones. We have Cortana on the Windows Phone, and we've now extended Cortana to your PCs and tablets, so that you have that personal assistant with you throughout your day across your devices. We also introduced a new web browser in Microsoft Edge, just really redefining the way that you browse and interact with the web. I think my favorite story to tell here is, I can remember when I was a kid and I'm preparing for Christmas, and we'd pull out the Sears catalog and you'd rip out pages that you circled things on, hoping that you might get that gift here in a couple weeks. Now with Microsoft Edge, you can interact directly with the web. You can go right on it, you can scribble, you can write, you can highlight things, and I can share that out. So when my wife says she might want a pair of shoes, instead of that long email explaining this color and where to go, she goes right to a page, circles something, pushes share, and we're good. And
yeah,
then finally,
it's kind of fun stuff. I actually got to see that in operation yesterday. I stopped by a Microsoft store and got a little overview of Windows 10. Very, very sexy software, very sexy. So Elisa, tell us a little bit about the history of Microsoft's corporate social responsibility efforts.
Sure. Well, giving and supporting nonprofits is really a key part of the Microsoft culture. In fact, when Bill Gates started the first employee giving campaign over 30 years ago, got a bunch of people together and they raised a whopping $17,000. Today, with our nearly 100,000 employees, each year with Microsoft and employee contributions, we donate over $1 billion to nonprofits around the world. So it's so much a part of who we are as a company and who we are as employees that it was really a natural thing to celebrate that as part of the Windows 10 launch.
Now, I'm a little stunned. I do a lot of this stuff. So I'm talking to people like you all the time who are involved in corporate social responsibility programs. And I realize Microsoft is a big company. I mean, it's a big company, but $1 billion a year is a lot of money, even for a big company.
It is a lot of money, and that includes software donations, cloud services, cash donations. We have we have a very generous employee giving program where we match employees' volunteer hours. Employees are given time off to volunteer in their communities around the world. And I think one of the coolest things about Upgrade Your World, at least in talking to colleagues, is in addition to the support that we are continuing to give to nonprofits through this initiative, all employees are also being given an extra day off to volunteer in their communities in any way they see fit, so that they too can upgrade the world in big and small ways.
Now, I think sometimes people conflate Microsoft and corporate giving there with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Talk about how you work with, coordinate with, or don't with the Gates Foundation and the work that's going on over there.
Sure. Well, there's definitely, Bill leaves a big legacy, so we're not surprised to hear that. We do work with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation on select projects, but that foundation has very clear focus on specific set of issues, whereas at Microsoft, we address a range of issues, but are really primarily focused on empowering youth around the world. So our focus areas are a little different. I think there are times when we come together, but definitely separate organizations at this point. But Bill definitely left a legacy here for us.
Corporate social responsibility programs have traditionally been thought of as, I guess in the worst sense, a tax, something that you must do in order to appease certain constituencies. But $1 billion a year isn't required, even for a Microsoft. So what that tells me is this must work for you somehow. This must somehow make Microsoft better off. Tell us about how you think about that.
Well, I think there's a number of ways to think about that. As I shared, the spirit of Microsoft has always had an element of giving and supporting nonprofits. Obviously we know customers love brands that do good. We know employees like to work for companies that are socially responsible. But at the heart of it really is our belief in the power of technology and nonprofits to change the world. So, for us to have nearly 100,000 organizations out there that are working on Microsoft software, that are using Office 365 and really using those products to help them achieve their mission, that's all goodness. So yes, absolutely, there's a philanthropic spirit here, but it's also good business.
Dave, as an employee of Microsoft, how do you connect to this? How do you feel about the good that Microsoft is doing, and how does that influence your choice to come back to work every day and miss sleep for 14 days before the Windows 10 launch?
I'll just share a personal experience with you, Devin. I look back over the last 24 plus hours and here on the night of the 28th, we kicked off this launch of Windows 10. And yes, we were up through the night and we were together with a lot of our friends and colleagues and family. And we saw just such amazing reception from our fans and from our customers and from the press and analysts. And then we rolled into yesterday morning and we had this great rally with our employees to celebrate these efforts to bring this product to market. But where it hit home for me is yesterday afternoon, we went into Seattle and we went to a place called Mary's Place. And we went there and they support 250 homeless women and their children and their families through a variety of services: shelter, meals, job assistant, home rental assistance. And seeing, handfuls of Microsoft employees there interacting with these women and their children, it hit me that this is a company that is really inspired and moved by enabling people's potential. And when we think about this mission of really trying to enable people to achieve more through technology, that really came to fruition for me on a very micro level yesterday. I was sitting there with the director, Marty Hartman, who's this director of this center, and she was talking with a mother and her daughter, and they have been in shelter for months and months. And she told them, you are going to get your forever home. And for me, as a father of 7, and my last 2
Okay. Sorry, just a little pause there as I absorbed the shock.
That's right. Reel back. But, for me, it hit home. I have my last 2 boys were adopted from Ethiopia. And 6 years ago, when we received them into our arms, we created this forever home experience. And that is what this is about, right? This week isn't just about this opportunity to upgrade your Windows software, but it's acknowledging and celebrating the fact that we as people, individuals and organizations can make a difference and upgrade the world around us.
Now, the Upgrade Your World campaign, that hashtag is oriented toward getting people to talk about the launch of Windows 10 in the context of using software for good. What is the role of that hashtag and that tagline more broadly in the overall launch of Windows 10? Is there a broader theme and launch effort, or is the whole launch centered on Upgrade Your World and the idea of doing good with the tools that Microsoft provides?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start, and then at least if you have anything to add. But I think for us, the genesis of this whole Upgrade Your World initiative goes back to the very beginning of the development of Windows 10, where we sort of asked ourselves, what would we do differently? People saw us jump from a Windows 8 all the way up to a Windows 10 because it was no incremental change in what we were bringing to market. But we decided for the first time ever, we would open this up. We would develop this with our customers because we believed that collectively we could make a better product. So we had over 5 million of our Windows customers help develop the product with us. And then as we got closer to launch, we thought, this is more about, more than just an upgrade of software. There is something here where collectively we can make a difference. And so that was sort of spawned, it was the birth of this initiative of Upgrade Your World, and how can we collectively combine with individuals and organizations to do more around us within our communities and beyond.
And I would add, I've had the opportunity to follow along the hashtag. And what we're seeing is, of course, there's excitement. Windows 10 is here. But there's some really amazing stories that are being shared from people everywhere, and the things that they are doing or people they know are doing to upgrade the world. So it's a real treat to get to see this be about what we as a company believe in strongly, and that so many people around the world are embracing that. It's been really, really interesting just to see the social feed in the first 24 hours. And this is something that we've committed to for a whole year. So we're going to be sharing stories of the featured global nonprofits. You'll be hearing more from us. We have some surprises and some exciting things happening in the coming months. But it's certainly off to
be sure to
absolutely.
update.
We'll keep posting that.
All right.
We sure will.
Now, so am I understanding correctly though that the Upgrade Your World is the theme for the Windows 10 launch?
It really is. We are. We're launching a product, but this is a product launch that we're celebrating with our fans. We're celebrating with retailers and with partners, but it's really about acknowledging the fact that we as individuals and organizations can do more. Collectively, we can do more to make a difference.
This really is a fascinating product launch because you have integrated social purpose so centrally into the launch. Am I understanding the strategy?
You are. I mean, it's spot on, Devin. This is something where we're certainly moved by that opportunity to take the concept of upgrade, right, where you're actually making something better, improving upon it, and going bigger with that. So
this is really a pretty revolutionary strategic initiative to launch, because Windows 10, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Windows 10 is not an incidental little side project for Microsoft. This is a big deal at Microsoft, right?
It is. It's a very big deal. There's been so much energy and investment poured into the product development around this. we changed a lot of things. We changed the way that we planned the product, the way that we developed it with our customers, the way that we're taking it to market. So yes, it's been quite a monumental feat to bring it to market with a lot of new innovation inside of it. It really is a new era of Windows, but I think it's a new era of Microsoft too.
That's great. Now, Lisa, I want to just drill down on something. If I understand correctly, nonprofits can upgrade to Windows 10 for free almost regardless of what Windows platform they may be on. Am I understanding that correctly? I mean, for most past Windows operating systems, you get a free upgrade to Windows 10. Is that right?
It is correct, yes. And I know that there are a lot of nonprofits out there who are getting ready to upgrade now. It looks a little different depending on what version of Windows you've been running, but yes, the upgrade is free.
And Dave, for nonprofits, that is for other customers, there is a free upgrade path for some, but maybe not all. What does that look like?
That's right. That path, it's a free upgrade for people that have qualified devices that are Windows 7 customers or Windows 8.1 customers. So it really goes back. It encompasses the last 6 years of new computers and hardware that people have bought with Windows on them.
Fantastic. Well, listen, I want to just ask you each to respond to one question, if you would, to just give us a chance to get some insight into each of you personally. And Dave, let's start with you. Microsoft is certainly a role model. Bill Gates is a huge role model. You stand in his shadow as a role model to many people. Who do you look up to as a role model?
It's a great question. I think I have so many role models, people that I admire. But if I'd harken back to something that was recent to me, I would go back to the experience I had yesterday. You know, for the first time, I met this individual, Marty Hartman. She's this executive director of Mary's Place in Seattle. And this to me is a selfless person, somebody that looks outward through windows and not mirrors. And she sees these mothers and these children who have needs and who, have hit hard times. They have challenges in front of them. And her connection with them and what she's doing, the good that she's doing and upgrading their lives and making them better, it just touched and moved me yesterday. And so for me, in the moment, she is my role model.
That's great. What about you, Alyssa?
Actually, probably in a similar vein to Dave, someone that I would consider a role model is actually a young woman I'm mentoring in Kenya who's named Esther. Through a nonprofit that Microsoft has sponsored for a number of years, I was introduced to Esther, who's from the largest slum in Africa 3 years ago. And I've had the opportunity to exchange letters with her. I actually got to meet her. And she's just this amazing young woman who values education, who values hard work. She's coming up to graduating from high school and starting on a technology program to make her more employable. And seeing this passion and commitment that she puts forth to make something for herself it's just inspiring. I try to tell my kids all the time, like, okay, what do you think Esther would do in this situation? I find myself using that when they want an extra scoop of ice cream or school's been so hard because they have to read another chapter. It comes back to, what would Esther do? So she's definitely a role model to me. And I'm so grateful that through the programs that Microsoft has, I was introduced to her.
Yeah, that's great. What a great story. That's just tremendous. Well, listen, I want to thank you both for taking the time to come on the show today and talk about the great things you're doing. And it's so fun to get a look inside the tent almost in real time as we talk about the strategies that you're deploying for incorporating your social cause into the heart, the very heart and soul of the marketing effort for Microsoft. That's really an interesting thing for those of us who think deeply about how to incorporate social corporate responsibility and cause marketing. This is really an inspiring case study, and so I really thank you for taking the time. Let's make sure, Dave, if you would, just make sure that people know where to go and what to do to learn more about the Windows 10 upgrade and the Upgrade Your World program?
Absolutely. So people should go to windows.com /upgrade your world, and that's how they can get involved in this initiative to learn more. We'd encourage people to vote for that 10th global nonprofit. They can go to hashtag Upgrade Your World, hashtag vote, and make sure that they tag their favorite charity. And then to learn more about the upgrade in general, go to windows.com /Windows 10 upgrade.
Fantastic. Well, I want to, again, thank you both for all you've done and wish you every success in the great work you're doing.
Thanks for having us, Devin.
Thanks for having us, Devin.
Thank you.
All righty. Let's do some good.